Hello, and welcome back to Clay's 50 Film Challenge! My name is Clay Johnson, and I am continuing my 50 Film Challenge, as well as playing with my dog on the side. It's probably why I'll be jerking around a little bit. But I am continuing the challenge with film number 11, Down with Love, as suggested by Laurel Lowe. So thank you very much for the suggestion, Laurel. This film is from 2003. It's a romantic comedy in the style of the 1960s romantic comedies like Pillow Talk and Lover Come Back, things like that, with Rock Hudson, Doris Day, Tony Randall, who actually appears in this film in a small role, but it's still always great to see Tony Randall. It's in that kind of surrealist, like I said, very much that 1960s of those types of films. Not realistic, definitely kind of surreal, but also really kind of focusing on that really chauvinistic mentality that was rampant in those times. Just, treating women like objects, and the highest thing they could be was a secretary. Things like that. And I will say this film, it kind of hits all those tropes while at the same time kind of trying to turn them on their head, because the film features, the lead of the film is Renee Zellweger, playing, suddenly I forgot her name, playing the role of Barbara Novak, who is an author who has written a book called Down with Love, which is basically meant to empower women to basically say no to, your life being just about marriage and, finding a husband and, actually pursuing a career. She takes it to, the extreme that a film like this would take it, and basically just says, don't ever fall in love. If you want to have sex, great, have sex, but let's not let men drag us down, which, in those times probably wasn't the worst attitude to have in order to be successful. And so she immediately runs foul of Ewan McGregor's character, Catcher Block, who is basically the type of man that is the exact reason that she would have written a book like this, because he's a womanizer and basically just sees women as objects for him to, have sex with and then just discard. And so when he initially tries to avoid her, just assuming that she is ugly and that he would have no use for someone like her. But number one, when her book becomes successful, and then number two, when he finds out that she's attractive, he immediately decides to go after her. But when she calls him out on national television for being what he is, he decides to not only go after her, but now he is going to expose her as the exact opposite of everything that she is espousing, because this is, wreaking havoc not only in his life, but in the life of every man in America. And so he sets out to expose her and pretends to be someone else so that she will date him, and he is trying to get her to say that she is in love with him. And so I liked this film for a lot of reasons. Like I said, it turns It takes a lot of the stereotypes of both men and women, the good and the bad, and basically says that these aren't stereotypes that are just resigned to one or the other. They can be, things that either sex can do and be known for. David Hyde Pierce's character in this film is my favorite thing in this film. He's great. Not only because he's funny and neurotic, and I mean, he's David Hyde Pierce, but also, if I'm being honest, his character seems a lot like me in some ways. And so I found him really enjoyable. I found the cast enjoyable as a whole. My main issue with this film is that, and this is not a knock to Ewan McGregor, but I did not like Catcher Block at all. And I mean, in the first half of the film, you're really not supposed to. He is not, well, I mean, you're not supposed to love him, at least. He's not likable at all. And I mean, I don't feel like I'm giving anything away. This is a romantic comedy. So obviously the two leads are supposed to end up together. And here's the thing. I never at any point wanted them to end up together. Not when he was the rogue, not when he, towards the end of the film, when he at least appears to make some changes. For me, a romantic comedy, you're supposed to root for the protagonists, no matter how horrible they may be at one point. You should ultimately want them to end up together. And I never wanted that. In fact, I kept rooting for Renee Zellweger's character basically just to humiliate him. Because pretty much through the entire film, all I ever wanted was for her or anyone to punch him in the mouth. And, I mean, like I said, that was very successful for the way the character started, but as far as, the thing is, he should be a rogue, but he should still be a likable rogue so that you can, like I said, root for them to end up together, and I never felt that. And even when he, quote-unquote, changed, I didn't buy it. I really didn't. I guess you could say that Ewan McGregor played the first part too well, and in the second part, his sincerity felt insincere. Like I said, I never wanted them to end up together. It never brought it to a place where I felt like the film was necessarily hurting its message, but I still never found him likable. And that's an issue for a romantic comedy. So, in rating this film, I honestly wrestled with it because on one hand, I actually really enjoyed the film, but on the other hand, I don't necessarily feel like it's a successful romantic comedy because I never liked the male lead, and I would have preferred her to end up with someone else other than him. And so, as much as part of me wanted to give this a 3, but I feel like I need to give it a 2. Now, I would say it's a high 2, but it's still a 2. So I am going to give this 2 chocolate bars. So yeah, good film. It wasn't completely ultimately successful, but for the most part, really enjoyable. So I would still suggest people see this. It's just, it has some issues. But yeah, check that film out. And as always, if you agree or disagree with my opinion, feel free to let me know in the comments. And I will be back next time with film number 12, The Invitation. So I'll be looking forward to that, and I will see you guys next time.